So, I have a last question for you. We say we have advices for youth, for their teachers, and what could you give to parents, because maybe they are baby boomers, and maybe they have children of the white generation or under.
Sure.
Maybe they are afraid sometimes, or maybe they don't understand their own children.
Right.
And what can they do? They have to let them do. What can they do to help them, and to help them to become happy adults, happy and successful adults?
The key to this world, I believe, and let me go back a little bit. If you're a parent, I think the most successful thing you can do is look at your child almost as if you're a stranger. It's hard because we love our kids, and we look at them and we have opinions about what their capabilities are and what their limitations are. Okay? Here's a good example. My father always was worried that I would never be able to make a living. So he got on my case that I had to learn mathematics and I had to learn the science, and I was whatever. And then when I told him I was going to go to graphic design school, he didn't understand it at all. And so my high school teachers actually had to tell him, look, it isn't like when you were growing up. Today a graphic designer can do all kinds of things. They can work with video, they can work on a movie set, they can work all over the place, or start their own business. So a lot of parents, the reason they do what they do is they're afraid that their children aren't going to be able to make a living or be able to eat, being a certain age and a failure because they followed some crazy dream. Well, it's not like it was when the parents were growing up, the baby boomers. Today, young people can make a living going and making movies. They can make a living working in video production. That was a pipe dream when I was a kid. Well, you're going to go to Hollywood? That's crazy. Well, now you can go to UCLA, get your degree, and go work in Hollywood right away, or for a production company. It's considered a job, just like an astronaut is now a job. These things are the professions of the 21st century. And all I can say to parents is, try to see your child in a new light. Just take a good look at them and go, what are they passionate about? What does my child get up every morning and get excited about? Do they love to play the drums? Do they love music and sound? Do they love science and math? And steer them in that direction and keep them open to possibilities, because you can be a mathematics person and build a server. You can be a teacher and start like the Khan Academy. You can be a great musician and help other musicians put their albums together. So there's all these other platforms and capabilities and possibilities that are right under our noses. But a lot of times as parents, we cannot see that because we might have a judgment call on our children based on some of what our own parents told us. Like, stop daydreaming, those kind of things we've all heard. Don't daydream, get a job. Why aren't you up out of bed? It's 10 o'clock, let's go, move it. When I was your age, I was...
Yeah. But it's very interesting that what you're saying about what my children love, and maybe some parents think that their children only love video games, alcohol, and drugs, and what they can do, they have to let them or to question them. What do you love in these video games?
Yeah.
What do you love when you take alcohol?
Well, the thing is that you are going to have to look at your child in that light, but also, and this is what the child may not know, especially a young adult, what's the path to success? Parents do know that on many levels, a lot of them, and just to steer the child in that direction. I gave a talk at my high school, and you would be shocked at what happened. I was blown away by this. This is a generational shift. I walked into the English and science departments and I spoke. and at the end I do a question and answer. And the English and science majors and the smart kids basically had very little questions about the success or what they wanted to do with their career. But when I went into the art department, and my high school had a very progressive art department growing up, sculpture, painting, you name it, they did it. Won awards, top awards. I couldn't get out of there for an hour because the kids were raising their hands and go, how can I do this for a living? How can I go and put my sculptures and my passion to work? And one kid made a joke. He said, yeah, I'm going to do video games, with this. And I said, you should. I want you to go home and talk to your parents. I want you to draft a letter, and because you're 16 or 17 years old, I want you to write a letter to Pixar, and I want you to write to the CEO. And I told him who to write to. I also want you to send a letter to the head of Electronic Arts. And I want you to tell them, I'm 16 years of age, I love video games, and I love art. How can I become an artist in the video game world? How can I bring my designs, my ideas to life in the video game world? See, if I were your age today with the talent that I had as a graphic designer, I would have gone straight to Pixar. They have their own university out in California where they teach you and train you in the Pixar methodology of making movies. And I think that young people today, if you have a passion for something, get out there and do it, because there's so many platforms that allow you to actually do it today.
I love what you're saying.
Good. And there's a practical side to this too. It's like money and success and having a good plan are very important. And I think where my father was concerned, and I think a lot of parents today are concerned, is they're afraid that these professions that we're talking about 100 years ago were whimsy. They were flights of fantasy. It was 1 in a million person that wound up working in Hollywood. 1 in a million person that wound up working at NASA. But today, it's very different. So parents don't need to worry like they used to. It's like, okay, you want to be an artist, you want to be a musician. How can we take it to the next level for this generation? It's very powerful what can go on now. You can produce an entire album with multiple musicians from your apartment with the sound equipment you get from Apple.
Yes.
So we have tools at our fingertips. We have the internet. You can market for free everything. It's not like it was 40 years ago.